There comes a moment in every woman's life when she has to stop asking, how do I make him understand what he lost? And start asking, why am I still trying to prove my worth to somebody who already had the opportunity to recognize it? That shift changes everything. Because when you keep chasing a man after a breakup, you are giving him something he did not earn. Continued access to your attention, your emotions, your energy, and your time. You are making it easier for him to walk away without truly experiencing what it means to lose you. You have to understand something about human nature. When somebody is always available, we can become comfortable with them. We know they are going to answer the phone. We know they are going to send the good morning text. We know that after an argument, they will eventually come back and apologize, explain, forgive, or try to repair everything. That consistency can become invisible, not because it has no value, but because it has become expected. That doesn't mean you disappear as a manipulation. It doesn't mean you play games, post pictures to make him jealous, or intentionally try to hurt him. That's not strength. That's still being emotionally controlled by him. If everything you do after the breakup is designed to get a reaction from him, then you're still living around him. You're still checking whether he noticed. You're still waiting for his message. You're still measuring your progress by his response. You don't need to send that 10th message. You don't need to explain yourself one more time. You don't need to tell him how much you love him just so he understands what he's losing. If you already communicated your feelings, then you've done your part. Continuing to explain yourself doesn't create value. It often creates the opposite effect because it shows him that he can withdraw while still receiving your emotional attention. Let him experience a day without your name appearing on his phone. Let him go through a week without hearing your voice. Let him discover what his routine feels like without you being part of it. Let him notice the little things that used to happen naturally because you were there. Maybe you were the person he talked to after a difficult day. Maybe you remembered the small details he forgot. Maybe you encouraged him when he doubted himself. Maybe you celebrated his victories when nobody else seemed to care. Maybe you gave him emotional comfort, patience, affection, and loyalty that he slowly started treating like something automatic. He may initially feel relieved. He may act like he doesn't care. He may even appear happier than you expected. Don't let that fool you into believing that your absence means nothing. People respond to loss differently. Some people feel the impact immediately. Others feel it when the distractions disappear. Others don't fully process it until they encounter a situation where they instinctively want to reach out to you and suddenly realize you're no longer there. You have to resist the urge to check his social media every hour. Stop looking for hidden messages in his posts. Stop asking mutual friends what he's doing. Stop creating imaginary conversations in your head. Every time you do that, you're keeping yourself emotionally attached to someone you're supposed to be releasing. When you stop chasing, you create space for reality. If he truly valued the relationship, he now has the opportunity to recognize what his choices cost him. If he didn't value it, then you have protected yourself from spending more time trying to convince somebody to appreciate you. And that's the mindset you need after a breakup. Stop making your healing dependent on whether he comes back. Stop thinking your worth will be confirmed when he finally sends that message saying, I miss you. You were valuable before he met you. You were valuable while you were with him. And you remain valuable whether he returns or never speaks to you again. If he wants access to you again, he should have to demonstrate that he has changed, not with promises, not with late-night emotional messages, not with, I can't live without you. Actions matter. Consistency matters. Respect matters. You were not asking for too much by wanting respect. You were not difficult because you wanted consistency. You were not needy because you wanted to feel valued. And you don't have to shrink yourself just because someone failed to appreciate what you brought into their life. There is something powerful about becoming the woman he never expected you to become after the relationship ended. Not a woman who is trying to make him jealous. Not a woman who is pretending she doesn't care. Not a woman who is desperately waiting for him to come back. I'm talking about a woman who finally realizes that the person she needs to rebuild is herself, because sometimes a man doesn't understand what he had while he had it. He becomes comfortable with your attention, comfortable with your forgiveness, comfortable knowing that no matter how distant he becomes, you'll eventually reach out. He may have become so accustomed to your presence that he stopped appreciating the effort behind it. You have to start rebuilding the parts of yourself that became neglected while you were busy maintaining the relationship. Maybe you stopped pursuing certain goals. Maybe you stopped spending time with friends. Maybe you stopped taking care of yourself the way you used to. Maybe you became so focused on keeping him happy that you forgot what made you happy. Take care of your appearance, not because you want him to see what he's missing, but because you want to feel confident when you look in the mirror. Start exercising, read, learn something new, work on your career, build your finances. Spend time with people who genuinely care about you. Create routines that make you proud of the person you're becoming. If you're constantly thinking, I hope he sees how good I look, you're still doing everything for him. If you're thinking, I hope he regrets leaving me, you're still waiting for his approval. If you're posting something just because you know he'll see it, you're still allowing him to influence your behavior. You become calmer. You stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to convince people to recognize your value. You stop looking for validation from somebody who wasn't able to give you what you needed. Imagine a man who was used to seeing you constantly available. He knew where you were. He knew you would answer. He knew that if he gave you a little attention, you would probably give him a lot in return. At first, he may not understand it. Then curiosity can begin. He may wonder why you're so quiet. He may wonder whether you've moved on. He may start remembering conversations, moments, routines, and experiences that he once took for granted. You have to understand that your attention is valuable. Your emotional energy is valuable. Your time is valuable. You should not give those things away to somebody simply because you're afraid they might forget you. If you believe you cannot be happy without him, then every decision you make will be controlled by fear. You'll accept less than you deserve because you're afraid of losing him. You'll tolerate inconsistency because you're afraid of being alone. You'll forgive things that should have been deal breakers because you don't want the relationship to end. Maybe one day he sees you and notices something different. Maybe he hears from someone that you're doing well. Maybe he checks your social media and realizes that your life continued without him. Maybe he reaches out because he finally understands that the woman who used to chase him isn't chasing anymore. And when you find yourself again, you'll understand that the relationship ending didn't destroy you. It gave you an opportunity to rebuild your life around your own values, your own dreams, your own standards, and your own peace. There is a point after a breakup when you have to stop trying to control what he thinks, what he feels, and whether he comes back. You have to understand that you cannot force someone to miss you. You cannot force someone to regret losing you. You cannot force someone to suddenly become the person you wanted them to be. What you can control is what happens next in your own life. And this is where many people make a mistake. They leave the relationship physically, but emotionally they never leave. They continue checking his social media. They ask friends about him. They wonder who he's talking to. They watch for signs that he's unhappy. They post things hoping he'll see them. They secretly want him to notice that they're doing well because your attention is powerful. Where you put your attention is where your energy goes. If you spend all day thinking about him, you're giving him control over your emotions even when he's not physically present. He doesn't have to call you. He doesn't have to text you. He doesn't even have to know what you're doing. You're still allowing him to occupy your mind. When you wake up, Don't reach for your phone to see whether he contacted you. Wake up thinking about your own goals. Think about what you need to accomplish today. Think about the person you're becoming. Think about the things you put on hold while you were trying to make the relationship work. There is nothing wrong with loving somebody deeply. There's nothing wrong with missing somebody after a breakup. But there is something dangerous about allowing your feelings to convince you that you have to chase someone who isn't choosing you. Sometimes a person misses the comfort you provided, not necessarily the responsibility that comes with loving you properly. They miss having someone available. They miss the attention. They miss the emotional support. They miss the routine. Maybe he'll look back and remember the woman who was there for him. Maybe he'll remember the conversations, the laughter, the support, the moments you shared. Maybe he'll realize that what he once considered ordinary was actually something special. There is a strength that comes from knowing you don't have to convince anyone to stay. You don't have to compete for love. You don't have to beg someone to recognize your value. There is a moment after a breakup when you have to understand that you cannot keep carrying the emotional weight for two people. If he made a decision to walk away, you cannot spend the rest of your life trying to make that decision easier for him. You cannot keep reaching out, explaining, forgiving, reminding, convincing, and hoping while he gets to sit back and decide whether he wants you. If you were always there, always available, always ready to answer, then your absence will create a different experience. He may begin noticing the quiet moments when he used to hear from you. He may remember the conversations you had. He may think about the way you supported him, encouraged him, listened to him, or made ordinary moments feel special.